Hello and welcome to our weekly IG Lives. I'm here from Makeaway Media, and we are going to be joined by author Deedee Cummings. And I believe our topic today is going to be on writing and healing. We have different topics every week. Last week we talked about what it's like to work with an illustrator. We'll have that up on our YouTube channel if you missed it, or you can check in our IGTV. You can see all of the past episodes there. And we always try to cover topics that are of interest, especially for people who are thinking about becoming authors or they're just getting started. Deedee has a lot of experience with this, and so she's always so generous sharing her tips. And last week was also pretty cool because we were joined by her illustrator and collaborator, hello Deedee, who is Charlene Mosley. So you can go back and look at that one to see that chat. That was a pretty special one. Hold on a second. Let me just get her on here. There you go. Hello.
Hey,
Good to see you.
you too. Keep talking. I was enjoying what you were saying.
Oh, I was just talking about how you covered so many different topics, how to give a talk on your book, about holiday books, about working with Amazon, about self-publishing versus traditional publisher, and also about the small independent publishers, which was kind of neat. I actually got to talk to somebody who has a small independent press. So like I think you had pointed out, it's not just these huge publishers versus self-publishing. There are a lot of smaller ones in between that people can think about. But I look back on it and we've covered so many different topics. You've shared so many different tips. And like I said, the one last week was pretty special, having Charlene Mosley on with us. That was really fun to talk with her, and also to see the interaction between the two of you, because you can tell you guys really vibe together. Like you said, that connection between the two of you is really important.
I agree. It was a lot of fun, and I loved how you facilitated that talk too, because me and Charlene probably would just go off the rails if we didn't have somebody kind of keep us on focused. But I loved last week, and just with you going down this whole list of stuff we've talked about, I have forgotten that we've talked about that much stuff, and I hope that it's been helpful to people.
Yeah, and the Cake Club. I almost forgot about that. I'm actually going to be posting. I thought I'd have time before the live, but I didn't. So I'll do it right after. I'm going to be posting on my own account about that, since my daughter's a member of that. And she was just doing some of the activities this morning.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
That's great. So we're just getting started, so they're kind of introductory activities, but did she enjoy them, or what were her thoughts?
Well, she did. We just started because I was just kind of late getting myself organized. The reading bingo.
Oh,
That
yeah.
that was really fun. And so she already colored in a few things on that. Like, so if you haven't seen it, it's a bingo format sheet, and it has different activities like reading in your pajamas, have someone read to you, read to a pet, and all these different ways that you can read, or different kinds of books you can read. So that's going to be fun. So this morning she did the one that was a rainbow, and
Oh,
your dreams on
yeah.
it, and also the All About Me puzzle.
Yes.
That
The rainbow is my favorites.
Yeah, I love that one. And it's also kind of fun to see like what's really important to her. So for both of those, it was all about animals. Like
Mm.
that was what was really important to her, was about cats and red pandas now because of the new movie. And she wants to go to Colombia because of Encanto. And then hopefully she wants to turn into a red panda. That's one of her dreams now. So, but it's like you said, I mean, we had talked about before that really the activities are for kids, but they're also really good conversation starters for the parents. A lot of times it helps us know what's going on in their world and in their minds.
Yes,
What's important to them, what are they thinking about? So I enjoyed seeing what she came up with, and I tried as much as possible, like, not to give her too much direction, but
yeah,
just let her see what she did.
yeah. Oh, I think that's so cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I
Sure.
can't see what she's done. That's amazing. I hope that over the next couple of weeks we'll get more information and more pictures, and I just want to see some of the artwork. I just hope that we're helpful in some way. You know, I don't want Make a Media to be another. There's so much noise. You know, I did a podcast last night called Dream Gardens, and
Mm,
thought about how much noise there is in the world. And as I was talking on the podcast, I thought, you know, will someone hear this? Because
mm-hmm.
there's so many choices now. I mean, who would have known, like when we were growing up, how many
Right.
TV stations did we have? Like five, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, cable came to town. I remember when cable came because we got the little cable box. I clearly
Yeah.
remember when it came. I remember MTV blowing my mind.
Right.
So then maybe we had, even when cable came, maybe we had, I don't know, 20 channels maybe. Cable started with 13 channels. And then all of a sudden there were 1,000 cable channels. And now there's all these streaming services. There's podcasts, there's audiobooks, there's all kinds of social media. I mean, I could go down the whole list, but you know, YouTube included. There's just so much to choose from for people to listen to or to read or to invite into their lives, invite into their mind. And I just
Mm-hmm.
want media to be helpful and be a positive voice. I don't want to just add to there's plenty of noise. I don't
Right.
want to add noise. I just want Make Media to be helpful. Um, and I know a teacher told me that she read the Kayla series with her own two young daughters and that it opened up a whole conversation about therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. I love that maybe Makeaway Media is being helpful and that it's providing an avenue for families to be able to have discussions they might not otherwise have had.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And like you said, I mean, that's something I think of a lot as someone who's on social media and who creates on social media. Like you said, I mean, sometimes it just feels like you're doing it just to do it. Like, oh, I need to post something today. I need to
Yeah,
do this today. And then you think, well, like, am I just contributing to the noise? Am I just and the distractions, or do I have something useful? So I love that you guys are being so mindful about that.
yeah. We really want to be helpful. Really don't want to just add to this like traffic jam of information in the world. So I really do try to be very thoughtful about what we post and
Mhm.
ask, you know, first and foremost, is this something that would have been helpful to me as I'm raising my children? Which, by the way, this is one of my kiddos, cute knick-knack. I think it's so sweet. He got on here and asked me a question. Thank you for asking me a question. But this is Nick from In the Nick of Time. And he's
You really
asking Yeah, he's asking me what my favorite is. So you know what I have to say.
yeah.
In the Nick of Time is my favorite book. And I love, Nick, that when I first showed my book to you before it was even published, your response was that you loved the book In the Nick of Time because it made you feel like Christmas and you
Mm.
love feeling like Christmas. I love that. So thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Somebody's watching, Leanna.
Now, you did say that you wanted to talk, speaking about being useful and putting something positive out in the world, that you wanted to talk about writing and healing. So what did you have in mind for that?
Yeah, I want to talk about writing and healing, which will probably, thanks guys for all your comments. I appreciate it. Um, I wanted to talk about writing and healing because I want people to know the power of writing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Next week, we will have a guest speaker. I'm not sure if you've gotten the schedule yet or not, Leanna. I think maybe, but um, Tabari, who is a fellow author and friend of mine, is going to come on and also talk about how books serve a community and how they're helpful for a community and how to heal a community. So this talk today will dovetail into next week. But I think it's really unfortunate in our culture that a lot of times we're raised to think that writing and reading are chores or punishment.
Right.
So unfortunate. I try so hard. Nick, tell me if I do this or not. I try so hard not to assign reading as a punishment to my
Mhm.
children. So, like if they get in trouble for something minor, and I just say no TV, no video games tonight. You're going to
Mhm.
read a. I try so hard not to do that because I don't want them to resent, not being able to watch TV. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the verification. But I try so hard not to assign reading or writing as a pen. And remember, when we were growing up, I don't really see parents do this as much anymore, although it still happens. But remember how sometimes parents would make kids write, I will follow directions. I will follow directions. I will, like 100 times. And
Right.
it's so unfortunate because writing and reading are two of the most healing tools
Mm.
in the box that we have for figuring out what's in our mind and what's in our heart and how we feel about the world.
Mhm.
And to just briefly share with people the power of my story and how I started healing through writing. I started writing with kids I work with as a therapist.
Mhm.
When I saw how powerful writing was for them and getting to tell their own story and having their story validated and believed uh, and made real because it was in black and white,
Right.
I saw how therapeutic it was for the kids I work with, and so I wanted to start doing it too.
Mm.
That's how I got into writing. That's how I started, I finally sat still and started writing my own stories. And I had realized I had stories I wanted to tell. And writing is very healing and powerful because, in fact, I just wrote a blog post today that will be shared next Thursday on the Makeaway Media website. But this really must be on my mind because a lot of stuff I've been doing lately, it all ties together. But I just wrote a blog post that I'll share next week about how you have to take time to really hear what's in your mind. If you have the
Mm.
TV 24 hours a day or the radio on, or you've always got kids, chirping in your ear, or you're at work and you're going from work to, uh, one thing to the next, you're not really taking time to hear the words that are feeding your mind and
Mm.
feeding your and writing helps you do that. It helps you kind of like lasso those words and get a hold of them and figure out what is it that's floating around in your mind, the thoughts that you have about yourself and about the world you live in. So I want to challenge people to try writing, whether it's through journaling or writing your story or writing a book, idea that might be in your head. But we have to take the time to sit still and do that, which was for the longest time was my problem, that I didn't sit still long enough to do it. Um, so I just wanted to share that message with people today and hope to inspire people to write their own story or at a minimum to journal so that you can get an idea of what really is floating around in your mind, your body, and your soul.
Yeah, and I can't say that I've been very good about doing that recently. When I was younger, I did a lot more journaling, and I don't know what it is about the process. I would think I know I would be clear on my thoughts, but something about the process of writing, I would always have realizations about something, even if it's something that I had been stewing about and had been going through my mind. So I didn't think there was anything left to think about it, but something about writing it down actually helped me clarify what I was thinking or have some kind of insight that I didn't have before. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what about it, but maybe like you said, maybe it's just partly just the sitting down and being really intentional and really focusing on it. Do you ever, because I know you're a person who's very busy and you're always doing so many things, how do you kind of quiet your mind down to get into that mindset? Because sometimes like I'll sit down to do something like that and it's just like I'm still thinking about all these other things I have to do or what I'm going to do next. How do you get yourself to focus?
Yeah, this is something that, it's difficult for a lot of people to kind of clear their mind and let these thoughts float to the top, but we have to try. And so I hear people say a lot, well, I tried to do that once and it didn't work. Give it more than once. I mean, it is something that I agree. I thought that was a good question too. Um, it is something that, you know, you have to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we do live in such a very loud and noisy world. And I almost think sometimes, you know, that we are intended to be busy all the time. That's the way it's being designed, for us to be so busy that we're not really taking care of ourselves. We're not really paying attention to the things that we, you know, desire to pay attention to. We're supposed to be worker bees. I mean, almost everybody I know works a full-time job and a part-time job, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing you really need to do is to decide that this is something that you want to do. Just tell
Mm-hmm.
yourself, do it. Write it on a sticky note, put it by your bed. You know, don't go to bed that night until you turn off the TV. Ask people to leave you alone just for 10 minutes and take some time to think about um, what floats to the top of your mind, whatever it is, you know. Um, and one of the reasons why that writing for you worked is because we have so many thoughts kind of like bouncing around in our head like ping pongs, that when you sit down and you write, it is kind of like whatever is you know, raises to the top of your consciousness that you decide to write down. It does help you kind of crystallize it and make it clear, like, okay,
Right.
this is what's first and foremost on my mind, or this is what I need to work on, or this is what I need to pay attention to. So try it more than once, try it in different ways, leave yourself notes so that you know that it's something that's important to you and you are reminded to do it. Because again, we're so busy during the day, you may intend to do it, and then 3 weeks will pass and you'll be like, you know what, I wanted to start this new habit and I completely forgot, you know.
Yeah,
So
that happened to me. My mom actually gifted me like a kind of a journal, and I
mhm,
did it for I think 2 days, and then
yeah.
I just kind of forgot. And as we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, where is that?
Yeah.
I need to pull that out.
Yeah, because we forget to take care of ourselves. That's why I say, like, it's like designed on purpose for us to be busy all the time. It's intentional. So make sure that you write it down. This is not something that takes a lot of time. You know, if we're going to go exercise or something, you know, that takes some time. And not only does it take time to exercise, but then if you get sweaty, you have to take a shower. And so these things kind of like interfere in our day. This is
Mm-hmm.
something shouldn't really cause you a lot of interference. You could be at work all day.
Mm-hmm.
Take 10 minutes to go sit in your car, or the weather's getting nicer, go sit under a tree on a bench or something and just sit and just think. And whatever comes to your head, that's okay. Even if you think like, I really need to go to the grocery store, just let those thoughts come. Sometimes I picture thoughts and I put them on a cloud and let the cloud away so that that creates room for something else to float to the top of my head. It
Okay.
sounds really silly, but it's not. It's one of those like mental techniques that helps you kind of say goodbye to something so that another thought can float up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then record those thoughts, you know, and it doesn't always have to be in writing. You can record it on your phone, do a voice memo on your phone, and come
Mm-hmm.
back to say, I wonder why I'm having this thought. I wonder why I'm thinking about this. Put it on a voice memo, and then maybe on a Saturday morning before the kids get up and things get crazy, you know, then journal about it. But the most important thing is that you just have to try. You have to try to do it, because I hear people over and over and over again say, that doesn't work for me. And if it doesn't work for you, you're way too busy and you've got some thoughts in your head that you just don't want to deal with. Because sometimes it can be uncomfortable. You know, I hear people say that, thanks for all the love on that, because that was a real statement right there. You know, I hear people that they think they keep the TV on 24 hours a day so they don't have to have their own thoughts. Their thoughts are like literally being programmed for them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something to think about and something to take into consideration. It's definitely something to try.
Yeah, and I love how you say that. I mean, you have to try it more than once, but also 10 minutes. I mean, that's really not that much time. That's very doable.
Yes, it is. And you really only need 10 minutes. Now, if you want to get to the writing phase, you're going to need a little bit more than 10 minutes. But people always think journaling has to be like 3 or 4 pages. Like it's almost like a diary where you have to, today I had oatmeal for breakfast. And then it almost ran into me at the red light, but I was able to keep my cool. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. It could literally be, today I thought I hate myself and I need to figure out what that is, period. That's it.
And
But
you don't have to show it to anybody else. So you can write those
anybody
kinds
else? But you do have to get a hold of those thoughts, because we have these tapes running in our head. One day, Leanna, 10 years from now, I won't be able to say tapes because nobody will know what it is anymore. Uh, but we have these tapes running in our head, these things we've been programmed to believe, about what we can do. I've had people tell me, I can't do that. People in my family don't do that. Or,
of.
these things we've been told that, we believe, like we always live on this side of town. We
Right.
handle problems. Everybody in my family has anger control problems. Well, you need to write those things down and figure out, why is that your truth? Just being told that doesn't mean that it's true. And if it is true, what are you going to do about it? You don't live in whatever truth has been written for you. So yeah, I find this like a fascinating topic. Anna is asking, so the first 10 minutes you're writing down topics. I just really want to challenge you to spend 10 minutes just figuring out what's bouncing around in your mind, because it could be things that you're just not really uh, ready to deal with yet. So just spend 10 minutes just listening to the voice in your head. That's it. And like I said, if it's filled with to-do stuff, like I have to go to the grocery store, I have to do this, I have to do that, try to like acknowledge that, say, yes, you have to go to the grocery store. Okay, now what else is in your mind? Don't try to run from it, because then it'll keep coming up. I have piles of laundry at home. I have piles of laundry at home. Yes, I have piles of laundry at home, and I'm going to be okay. What else do I need to deal with today? So I don't want to tell you how to do it, because everybody's process is different, but I know it's crucial to spend time in silence, and it doesn't have to be complete silence. So if you go sit outside and there are birds chirping, that's fine. But it shouldn't be like talking. It shouldn't be the TV on in the background and you're trying to figure out what's in your mind, because you're going to hear like Ukraine, and then that's going to pull your attention from what's going on in your mind. So that's why birds chirping is okay, but TV is not really okay. Then after that, you can write down topics, you can write down thoughts, you can just make a list. You don't have to deal with them at that time. Come back to it later and say, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I worried? Why am I beating myself up? And then get to the point where maybe you counter those thoughts, where, if you say like, my dreams are silly. I'll never achieve my dreams. Write that down. And then maybe the next time, ask yourself why you're having that thought. Everybody's entitled to dreams. So counter that thought with, no, my dreams are not silly. In fact, I've heard many times, if my dreams aren't scary, they're not big enough. That's not silly. So make sure you counter those negative points and then replace those negative thoughts. So if you have, I'll never achieve my dreams, I'll never achieve my dreams, I'll never achieve my dreams, write down why you think that and why that's not true. And then try to replace that. So when you think, if you're at work and you say, I'm going to be stuck here forever, I'm never going to achieve my dreams, replace that and say, that'll come to your mind and you'll say it, but then say, that's not true. My dreams are as important as anybody else's dream. I just need to take the first step. So replace that talk. Somebody had asked us earlier up to Leanna,
About
if
whether
we
we books.
if we write books. Why, yes, we do.
Good question. Yes.
That's really how I, got into all of this. Is Makeaway Media writes books primarily for kids. I do eventually want to write some books that are more for adults. Like I want to write about this mindset I talk about all the time. I think that that's important to get out there in the world. But right now we write children's books, and all of the children's books that I write are feature diverse characters, so that lots of different kids can see themselves in a book. And also all of the books we write feature coping skills, which is not something that we spend a lot of time talking to kids about. So all the books have a social, emotional component to them that, as we were talking earlier today, opens up a doorway for parents or caregivers, anybody who has kids in their life and loves kids. It opens up a doorway for you to be able to talk with kids about what they're experiencing. one other thing real quickly, Anna, and then I'll go back to you because I know I've been talking for a while. But over this pandemic, we're seeing all kinds of data about how this time period in life has affected children.
Yes.
Anxiety on the rise, depression is on the rise, and I don't mean to assign that to our children because our children are beautiful, and we all know children are resilient. That's true. But we may have just put a lot on kids over the past couple of years, and I don't think that it's right for us to just keep saying, well, kids are resilient. We need
Right.
to be having these conversations with our kids. We need to know how they feel about themselves and how they feel about the world they live in. And so all of these books help do that. Thank you again for asking your question about the books. There are a lot of books on the Makeaway Media website. You can also go on Amazon and you can search for books by Deedee Cummings. I'll put my name in the chat here. Go to Amazon and search for books by Deedee Cummings, or you can go to the Makeaway Media website and you'll see the whole list of books there. My first book ever is a short poem with beautiful illustrations. It's all about the power and importance of love and how we have to take care of it. It's called Love Is. And then my last book that just came out is a series of books called Kayla, a Modern Day Princess, and it's inspired by the real life of my own daughter. Her name is Kayla, and she just landed on Broadway this week. So I'm glad this person is asking about these books because we almost didn't say that. Leanna, I forgot. Kayla,
Hi.
Kayla in the Kayla books is on Broadway right this minute as we speak. It has been such an exciting week. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking that question. And the children in your life would love the Kayla series. The Makeaway Media books feature diverse characters, but they are for all children. I always say children need to read books with characters who look like them because it builds their esteem. But children also need to read books with characters who do not look like them because it builds our empathy.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that just to add on to that, talking about the diverse characters, I think that because there's a lot of debate about that now, not to get too political, but about books being banned because they think white kids won't be able to relate to it, or they'll feel, I don't know, they'll have their feelings hurt by it or something along those lines. And my observation from kids is that when they do read about um, somebody that looks different to them, I think they're aware of it, but I don't know how much they really think that much about it because they always are relating to the kids on some level. Like, for
Mhm.
example, my kids love the book New Kid by Jerry Craft.
Yes.
They're aware about the like that the kid is a different color, and because it focuses a lot on what he goes through because of that. But at
Hmm.
the same time, they also relate to him because he loves to draw, and they
Yeah.
love to make comics. You know, so it's, I mean, it is diverse characters, but at the same time, like you said, like there's something everybody can
Hmm.
relate to, and I think that's
Yeah.
really important for kids to relate to somebody who looks different. You know,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Kayla books is about a diverse character. It's about a little black girl and her pursuit of her dreams. However, it's something for all kids because all kids need inspiration. Little kids from a young age need to believe in their dreams. And that's really what Kayla series is all about.
Hmm.
And do come true. Kayla is on Broadway this week. I'm so excited. Yeah. Well, thank
Wonderful.
you as always. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you every week. I feel so privileged to get to talk to you every week.
I look forward to it. I really do.
Me
And it's
too.
all fun, everybody that's joined us and that is watching or making your comments. I mean, we love seeing those and we love that you're joining us and taking time out. We try to keep it fairly short. We went a little over because it's hard for us to keep it short. But we taking your time to watch and to comment, and we really do appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I'll see you with Tabari. Check out our Instagram page and you'll see who's coming in next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.